Hello guys and welcome back to the UtdDistrict YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at 3 of the most exciting talents in Manchester United's academy. Now of course, in terms of Erik ten Hag's first team this season, there's been little to get excited about, and 2 of probably the only main positives from this season have been the developments of Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho in the first team. They've probably been 2 of the more exciting players, and yeah, the academy continues to kind of give some positive vibes to the club, and the under-18s in particular are doing just that right now. United's under-18s group are 13 wins out of 13 so far in the league, and they've got a lot of impressive talent across the board. So we're going to be looking at 3 in particular who could potentially make strides towards first team football in the coming seasons. But before we get into those, I'd just like to quickly kind of mention the new podcast that UtdDistrict are doing in collaboration with the guys over at United View. The podcast is called What the Devil, and we'll be discussing all things Manchester United every week on Thursday evenings. It's a really exciting opportunity. The first 2 episodes are live on United View's channel, so be sure to check those out. The full episodes will be going out on there, but we'll be uploading shorter, kind of 10 to 15 minute clips onto this channel, because we know that kind of people consume their kind of content in different ways, and not everyone wants to watch an hour-long podcast. So if that's you, be sure to check out the kind of clips that will be coming on this channel alongside the normal content that we're looking to provide going forward. Now we've covered that, let's get into the players. Now first of all is a name that people have probably heard bits and pieces about in the last couple of years just because of his talent level in the academy. It's 16-year-old Lacy, who originates from Liverpool but joined Manchester United's academy at a young age. He's been touted as a really impressive talent across the last few years, as I mentioned, playing above his age group basically throughout his academy journey, and now he's a regular in the under-18 side, only out of the team at the moment through injury, which he's reportedly meant to be back in training in the next couple of weeks. So what kind of player is Lacy? I mean, there's quite a wide comparison at the moment. I think even his own brother made the same comparison to Manchester City's Phil Foden. Now, of course, you can't really compare talent levels at such a young age, and of course Foden's an established Premier League player now, but in terms of play style, those who watch Lacy can definitely see the kind of comparison made. He's a left-footed right winger with very close control, great link-up play and in tight spaces, but I think it's his dribbling which really kind of stands out to me whenever I watch Lacy play. His close control and the ability to have that little burst to get half a yard on his fullback allows Lacy to come inside and link up with players like I mentioned, but also he's really good at going on the outside, playing on the right wing as a left-footed player. We all know that some players can kind of find difficulties going on the outside, but at this level and playing above his age range, Lacy has really kind of shown effectiveness on getting his body across the man, making separation between the opposition and the ball, and making it really difficult to kind of take him down when he goes on that outside. He scored a very good goal last season. I think it went kind of semi-viral, doing this exact kind of thing, and it's a really kind of promising attribute for such a young winger to have that ability to go on the inside and be effective, make passes in behind, even kind of shoot from long range, but also have that on the outside to add some unpredictability to his game. Erik ten Hag actually held one-to-one meetings with a few academy players at the end of last season, and Lacy was reportedly one of those, to discuss kind of the eventual progression into the first team and what's expected of those kind of youth team players coming up. And now of course there's different opinions on Erik ten Hag at the moment with Manchester United fans, but it's undoubtable that that kind of praise and recognition of Lacy is something that bodes well for him 100%. Now second of all, we're going to be speaking about another 16-year-old. The 2 other players are also 16, playing in the under-18s, which is kind of expected at Manchester United, I guess, but they're both big talents, and the first we're going to be speaking about is Harry Amas. United bought him from Watford in the summer transfer window just gone, and they had tough competition from Chelsea but managed to get his signature over the line on a 4-year deal, I believe, which is already looking to be really promising business for United with how impactful Harry Amas has been for the 18s this year. He's made 9 appearances in the league since he joined the club, 7 of those being full 90-minute games. He's got 3 assists and 1 goal so far, and he looks really, really confident in his play already. I mean, he's a left back, and there's similarities to Luke Shaw, especially in possession of the ball. With the ball at his feet, Amas is a very difficult player to dispossess, mainly because of the kind of different options that he can use within his skill set. He's got a good understanding of when he's too under pressure and can pass back or pass inside, but he's also got quite good close control and dribbling ability so that he can evade a pressing player or two. And then on the other side of things, he can nip in and intercept the ball with the ball being played to a winger, for example. He's got quite good anticipation in that aspect, and that has helped him throughout periods of this season, definitely. Amas is solid enough defensively at this stage of his development. You'd obviously like to see some further steps forward as he grows into the coming years, but I think his ability in possession on the ball is a really standout trait for someone in that position. He's able to come inside and be very comfortable on the ball or out of the ball in his kind of positioning out of possession. Attacking wise, he's got a very impressive cross on him, especially when he's got time on the ball, but there is kind of some developments to be made in decisiveness when he attacks the space in the final third. But those are all areas which he can definitely improve on whilst he's with the under-18s or with the under-21s. But his overall skill set and the different things that he offers in possession are really exciting, and it kind of exactly what United would want in a future fullback. And finally, we're going to be speaking about the person that we snatched from Manchester City recently, and it's not Omar Barada, it is Darren Fletcher's son, Jack Fletcher. He joined United in the summer alongside twin brother Tyler for around 1.25 million, and the move was quite mocked among United fans just because it was well reported with David Ornstein getting the exclusive on that one, I believe, and I think it was partly because United weren't doing their thing in the transfer window in terms of the first team, and an over £1 million fee for 2 16-year-olds is kind of something that will get a couple of eyebrows raised, you'd assume, and Jack Fletcher has already proved a lot of those people wrong with a lot of his performances for the academy so far. He's settled into United's team extremely well, being one of the more important players in that under-18s team, and he's got some really impressive abilities. He is a central midfielder, looks to be more on the attacking side. He's been the number 10 in a midfield three for United's under-18s side on various occasions, and that looks like where he is most comfortable. But one thing that just stands out when you watch him is his kind of elegance, his intelligence on the ball. It's kind of similar to Kobbie Mainoo, of course, who has gone on to United's first team now, but not in terms of overall play style, but just those two particular aspects where they look like they've got more time on the ball because of how they receive, how they position themselves. Fletcher's got a really nice pass in behind the back of the defence, which he can do in various different ways. That kind of passing range is really impressive in his game so far that he's displayed, and definitely his standout attribute, I would say. One other thing with Fletcher is that he can carry the ball very well through his close control, through those quite long strides. He's quite tall already at just 16, and he kind of can overpower his peers at the moment. One thing I would say with that is you'd look for him to get more power just as he progresses through the ranks. You'd not be too surprised if he kind of reaches the under-21s level by the end of the year or at the start of next season, and you'd like to see him kind of gain more power to improve in that kind of carrying style, which is already quite a good attribute in his game, but could be elevated further. And yeah, when I watch a lot of these players in the youth teams, I always quite like when a player knows when to pass and when not to, because obviously we see in the United first team that there's players who still don't have that on lock, and of course it's a lot different in the youth system. You can't really compare games, but someone like Jack Fletcher, Kobbie Mainoo, Dangor, Isaac Hansen-Aaron of course can do it. They're just calmness, their know-how with the ball, they often know when and not to make the pass, and it's a good sign at such a young age. And one other thing that stands out with Fletcher that I've noticed in the games that I've watched is his kind of eye for like a smart flick or trick in and around the opposition box, which can open up either space for his teammate to shoot or space for him to have a shot or make a pass. He's done it multiple times in recent months where the ball's coming to his left foot and he kind of manipulates it, does a quick Cruyff turn, a back heel, and he creates a chance from it. And that's something definitely to kind of keep an eye on for him going forward, because players who can kind of do that on a regular basis when they enter the box, especially as midfield players, who can kind of find spaces more easily than centre forwards because they're so kind of focused on by the defensive unit. If you can find spaces in the box and then kind of make those tricks and manipulate the ball to open up further space for an action like a shot or a pass, then it's a really positive kind of asset to have in your locker. Despite only joining in the summer, Fletcher was included in Erik ten Hag's first team squad ahead of a Champions League clash against Galatasaray. He didn't end up making the matchday squad, but being in first team training at such a young age is a really good sign. Fletcher, there's reports which state that Erik ten Hag and United are planning to fast track his development, which could mean that he's fast tracked through the system into the 21s, potentially into the first team in a couple of years, or it could be through loans at an early age, because not many 17-year-olds, as he'd be next season, would go on loans, but that could be something that we could look out for if he does end up taking that route. But all in all, there's definitely potential there with Fletcher. He's a really exciting player. He's only been at United for a couple of months, but it's already looking very promising for him and the other two guys mentioned. We're going to close the video up with that. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to keep an eye out on these guys. Follow United District on Twitter or X for updates on different youth team matches when we can get to them. And also, I'd recommend, if you can, go and watch some of these games, because especially with United at the moment they are in, it being difficult for fans to actually enjoy themselves, it is a much better experience to just kind of watch a couple of these youth games and see what you make, because they can be quite enjoyable, and seeing the young talent like Kobbie Mainoo or Alejandro Garnacho come through into the first team, it makes it kind of a little bit more fun when you see them coming through the ranks a little bit. So yeah, I'll add that, but we'll sign off this video. If you'd enjoyed it, leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel. If you think we missed anyone who's a real standout talent, which there are many others within the youth system at the moment, comment those ones down below and let me know what you thought of the three which I named. We'll leave it at that. We'll see you in the next one.